the legislation to reform Wall Street, the financial reform of Wall Street, is weak beyond effectiveness and very easy to design around and to game. This is after the greatest corporate crime, fraud, and abuse collapse in world history. So until the taboo that infests Congress is broken, no tide will turn. Now, I understand that this slot here was reserved for President Barack Obama. And he is not here tonight, as you know. And I was asked to be a pinch hitter, and which was fine. I only wish that there were more people watching more pinch hitters outside the two major parties who are so indentured to so many special interest groups. Because until we have independent candidates at the local, state, and national level, third-party candidates, until we break the grip of this two-party monopoly or duopoly, we will never have the requisite dissent that represents large areas of American public opinion. We will never have the requisite dissent to change things in our country. There's an old saying, often attributed to me, dissent is the mother of all assent. That's where it starts from our history in 1776 with Lexington and Concord. It all starts with dissent for redirection. I want to read a tiny saying by Al-Ghazali. How many of you know Al-Ghazali? I wish I could read it in, you read Arabic? You do? Okay. Just think of this. In a world of propaganda that is so misleading and so cruel and so self-destructive on these issues, 900 years ago, this Arab philosopher made the following statement: knowledge without action is a means without an end, and action without knowledge is a crime. Can you read that in Arabic? Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
العلم بلا عمل وسيلة بلا غاية والعمل بلا علم جناية.
And in that regard, I want to recommend a book for you written by a professor of European history emeritus from Princeton. This is the most excellent history entitled Plowshares into Swords from Zionism to Israel by Arno Mayer, a refugee from the Nazi regime. And he came over here. The reason why this book is so important reflects Al-Ghazali's comment. We can never know enough about the history of this sorrowful problem in order to convey with a sense of urgency and a sense of framework and context the need for change. And to make it easy for you, we will take orders for this book out there at the desk so you don't have to look for the publisher or anything like this. This is an extraordinary book by an extraordinary scholar who was blacked out by the New York Times, Washington Post, and Wall Street Journal. You may wonder why I have a book called Only the Super Rich Can Save Us, given where I come from. The title is in quotes. It's a work of political fiction and imagination. And what it tries to do on domestic issues in this country is to raise our imagination so we can envision real possibilities. And it has 17 super rich, older Americans, most of whom you know, in fictional roles, who put billions of dollars in mobilizing this country to improve it from the grassroots up. And I say to you, in this community, in addition to expanding the budget of ADC this evening as you and your friends back home can do. That you also think on another level of imagination. And you also go to some of the elderly super rich among the community. And you ask them whether they would be willing to take a share of their wealth. And there are very rich people in this country who are giving billions of dollars here and billions of dollars there to establish a presence in every congressional district, to establish schools for young Arab Americans to train them in civic action and how to practice democracy, to establish a linkage with other groups who don't have adequate rights in this country and are of different ethnic and religious backgrounds. For if we do not imagine, we cannot envision. And if we cannot envision, we cannot reach real possibilities. So give all you can this evening. And those of you back home who are afraid to give because of economic retaliation, I have a solution. Give it to someone who isn't afraid of economic retaliation, and they'll give it to ADC. But do keep in mind, please, this second level of imagination in order to take it to a massively new level. There's the old saying by Mr. Carnegie of the Steele family when he said that a rich man who dies rich dies impoverished. And when Warren Buffett heard that, he proceeded to give $35 billion to the Gates Foundation. So there are precedents all over now for very rich older people who have a different perspective on life, giving bequests or giving in vivo contributions so that you can greatly expand this effort of yours. Thank you very much. Thank you. Is that a beautiful saying?